Hello, thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today I titled this message, Is it love or is it mass media programming? Is it love or is it mass media programming? When there are individuals who start to question the way things have always been, there are also individuals who are going to change the way things have always been. And sometimes the change is for good. In the case of the increase of interracial relationships, for instance, the commercials that we see with interracial families and so forth. But then there are those agendas, those types of programming that are not in one's best interest. A person who doesn't want to go along with whatever somebody decides is good, is right for the day, for the week, for the month, for the year, doesn't want to be demonized because they're not going along with the programming. Everything that was once okay, that was once all right, that didn't bother or hurt anybody, is put under a microscope by those individuals who get wind of some information, some knowledge, something that tickles their ears. Well, why is it that we have to allow things to be this way? Can't we just change some things? Can't we just do some things differently? Well, maybe the people don't want that change. Maybe the people are not ready to digest certain things. Maybe the people will just change in their time, in their season, rather than be forcibly changed, rather than be changed as a result of manufactured events. I ask the question, is it really love, right? Is it really love? Or is it just another agenda, mass media programming at its best? If I really love someone, I'm loving them not because there was a bunch of brainwashing around me that said that I should start loving this person. I'm loving them because I just love who they are. But we have some people who are systematically brainwashed to take interest in us, and I'm going to use African American women, for example, because of all of the media programming, increased media programming in the porn industry, increased media programming in the various reality shows on television, increased media programming through the music, increased media programming through simply putting more black faces in black areas. And so now a black woman is more susceptible to being talked to, dated, married, and whatever else a group or an individual wants. Okay? But do you really love me? That's the question. Do you really love that person for who they really are? Another example. If you have many church leaders around you, people who love the Lord, people who pray for you, people who just want you to be a part of their organization, and so they do all these really nice things for you. But yet in your heart of hearts, you're really not sold out on God himself. You're just in love with what is around you, or in like, actually, of what is around you. How long do you think you're going to stick it out with that group before you grow tired of it? Because my heart really wasn't in it. I mean, how can you say no when somebody puts some goodies in front of you, right? I mean, I may not be in love, or I may not even really like those goodies, but I'm curious about them. I'm curious about the people. I'm glad that they do what they do for me. But do you love the God behind all those people, all of the treats, all of the goodies? You see, we can manufacture things in such a way where people will gravitate to them, and they will love on them and like on them to a certain extent. And then when we stop giving, and it's time for them to give, that is the test on whether or not they really love. We've got some people who orchestrate all sorts of events. They orchestrate things in such a way that make you feel like you're on top of the world. They give us this fantasy. But then sooner or later we come up out of the fantasy and we see the reality for what it is. And the reality is dull. The reality is in chaos, or the reality is not very beneficial, even though they promised us the sun, the moon, and the stars. Love. You can manufacture love. What better time to discuss this around a Valentine's Day holiday season? You can manufacture love. You can create things that look like love. I mean, people do it with weddings, don't they? And then catch up with them about a year, 2, 3, 5+ years later, and it's not all that loving. Because somebody was in love with the idea of love. They were in love with all of the symbolism behind love. They were in love with the people that were going to show up, but not necessarily the mate that they were marrying. I know I'm stepping on somebody's toes. You look at the wedding album, you look at the wedding pictures, and it all looks so lovely. But the person that you're looking at on a daily basis, are you truly loving that person? Did you ever love that person? Or did you love what that person did for you? Oh, we create a lot, don't we, around us to appear as if we love. Then God comes in and says, the truth is that what you have done the past 5, 10, 15, 20+ years is manipulate yourself into feeling as if you're being loved by someone who doesn't love you. Ooh, Jesus, somebody needs to listen to that audio when you discover that somebody doesn't like or love you. Oh, it's a wake-up call. I told you, if you walk with the Lord long enough and the people of God, you are going to see some things in a whole new light. And you know that devil of a dark man or woman or group don't want you seeing the light, because that light is going to eventually bring you up out of whatever plight they put you in. You know, the devil, he believes in keeping puppets on strings. He believes in keeping people in handcuffs. He believes in keeping people in cages. He believes in putting people in a box. You know this. You stay in the church for too long and you allow them to saturate you with all of these feelings of love, right? At least that's what you feel like it is. And then later on, that same church that has the cult-like atmosphere turns on you because you're not going to show up to help them with this project and that one. Turns on you because you don't give enough money. Turns on you because you don't give all that they think you should give. Yes, this sort of thing even happens in churches. That's why I say you need to pray before you go to a church. I want people to go to the church, but I don't want them going to any and every church. I want them to go to the churches that God has called them to. People hallucinate love when they take drugs, when they drink alcohol, when they take a drag on a cigarette a little too long. They think things about love. They feel things that they think is love. Some people will pull out a dating app and look at all these beautiful pictures of people and start imagining what it would be like to be with this person. Then to go out on the first date, and they're already hyped up on what they're going to get from this person, only to be disappointed that what I saw wasn't really what I saw. What I thought I was getting really wasn't what I was getting. The face was beautiful, but the voice was annoying. Or the voice was beautiful, but the face was hideous. The atmosphere was beautiful, but I would have liked to share this atmosphere with somebody who I truly love rather than somebody who I simply like. As we grow in Christ and we look at scriptures, especially 1 Corinthians 13 on love, let us not be deceived by the enemy who seeks to kill, steal, and destroy. And he will use even a holiday like Valentine's Day to put a false belief in us that someone loves us who hasn't loved us in a long time. He will use a holiday like Valentine's Day once again to make us think that all things are beautiful, nice, and sweet, when in all actuality, all that man or woman wants is some sex for the night and then on to the next one. He will make us believe that people love us just because they send us a gift or just because we shared a really nice moment, but it isn't what it is. He's nice to everyone. She's sweet to everyone. You're nothing special. For some people, you've got to be able to discern whether or not a person has some type of feeling that goes beyond just a work relationship or just a friendship or just a church acquaintanceship. You've got to ask the Lord, is there something more to this? Is this person called to be something in my life? Is this person called to be an advisor? Is this person called to be just what she is, a supervisor or manager? Is this person called to be my future spouse? I mean, is this really real what I'm experiencing, or is this manufactured based on some trinkets, based on a nice low lighting environment, a place where people are so caught up in the music and the food and the drinks, and that's all it is, because tomorrow is another day. Am I going to feel the same feelings tomorrow? I will tell you that when I experienced a feeling that I believe was in development toward love, I recognized in the midst of experiencing that feeling that the individual that I was thinking deeply about was an individual that I was simply unclean. I was simply unclean for. I knew that that man was called to be with a godly wife. And I, in that particular time of my life, would not have been a good partner for him. I had to realize that. And as his likeness for me was growing, I had to be the one to shut that down. Sometimes you have to be the one to shut it down when you know that, yeah, this person really has sincere feelings for you, absolutely adores you, is on their way to falling in love with you. As much as it feels good to be loved by somebody, you might be the one to have to shut that thing down because of where you are right now. You might be right now in a place where you're still healing from the last relationship. You might be in a place right now where you've got some bad habits and you know that those bad habits are not going to go well in a new relationship with that person because they're just that good. You might be in a relationship and you know that you don't have any intention of getting out of that relationship. So you might as well not tease someone into believing that you have a place for him or her in your life. But for those, though, that you see that there is something blossoming and you are not in a dirty, dark, nasty place, if anything, you are doing well and God is working with you in so many different ways, and that person is very much available, then hey, it might be something worth pursuing. But make sure that your feelings are genuine. This is why I tell some people, don't have the traditional date. Don't do it. Because the traditional date with the candlelight, right, and the movies, oh, it's so superficial, isn't it? Have the kind of date where it's like friends just hanging out. See the person when they're not all made up. See the person out of that element that you fell in love or like with. See if you can be able to stand them through winter, fall, spring, summer. And if you can make it, those emotions, without laying down with them, without seeing them unclothed, then maybe, just maybe, there might be something growing there. But if all you can do is see them unclothed, if all you can do is wish that you could hold and kiss them, and you really don't care about too much of anything else, then you're operating in lust. Simply put, let us not be consumed by the flesh. Let us not allow the media to program us into believing that everything that appears to be like or love is We've got people who know how to manipulate us into thinking that they like us very much, love us very much. They know how to flatter us with all of their kind speech, but at the end of the day, they're prepping us to give up something for them. Ask the Lord to put his angels of protection all around you, to take away the seeds of lust in Jesus' mighty name, to protect you from all harm and danger, right? To bless you and to cause you to be a blessing to others in a way that is healthy, in a functional way, not in a way that's needy, in a way that's going to drag people down. We're supposed to elevate our brothers and sisters, be beacons of light, not beacons of darkness. We're not to do things to cause them to sin. I thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube NM Enterprise 7. Subscribe today. Also, if you haven't given, we do welcome donations and blessings to you.